Back. So I'm David, and today we're going through the internal business model. So within my previous videos talking about the core principles of scenario planning, we actually went through business model, and I give you my definition, my way of classifying business model, which is I classified it into internal and external business models. And today I want to explore further because business model is hugely important. Especially if you're transforming your business model as a whole in the future, there are a lot of details to consider. So today our video will focus on internal business model, and the next video I'll be talking about external business model using a similar diagram like this. So this is actually a fishbone diagram which I address, and many people address this as Ishikawa diagram, and let's get started right away. So first of all, let's talk about supply chain management. So supply chain management, what can we talk about under that is we separate it under structural dimension and infrastructural dimension. So structural dimension, we can analyze it as computer hardware, and infrastructural dimension, we can analyze it as computer software. So in supply chain management, we always care about our four factors under structural dimension, which are configuration, connection, inventory, and logistics. So we have to try to think about, where are we going to locate our business? So this will be done under configuration. And connection is more about where do we produce our product, who are the participants, how we're able to connect our participants, the supplier, the manufacturer, possibly this transportational logistic businesses in between, and distributors, and our end customer, and where are we distributing our products to the customers in the end, which may include delivery companies. So these are two important concepts. These two words have a lot to expand about that. And now we have inventory, which means how much stock are we going to stock? How much products are we stocking in our warehouses? How much are we stocking for each store, for each particular group of customers? And also logistics, which is the process of transporting the products in between different processes of the supply chain. Okay, and infrastructure and also the structural dimensions, the four different factors, we often separate them back to operational and strategic dimensions. So in operational point of view, we're saying how these are carried out and how these details, the technical work, how these revenues things, all these considerations are carried out. And strategic is basically our ways, our methodologies, our considerations in the configuration, connection, inventory, logistics, how we're setting them, how we're actually connecting these factors together, and what strategies are we taking to ensure efficiency and responsiveness. In infrastructural aspect, we can break it down under communication, collaboration, information, coordination. So these are two very straightforward that I think I don't have to expand it further. And moreover, talking about supply chain coordination. So if we go on to talk about coordination, I want to break it down first of all in maximize efficiency. So to maximize efficiency, our step is to implement certain strategies. So the first strategy I'm introducing is vendor managed inventory. So I want to give you guys a definition of what is vendor managed inventory. Vendor managed inventory is basically when the vendor, the suppliers, is taking the role to manage the inventory on behalf of the manufacturer. So the manufacturer will provide the supplier on how much inventory is manufacturer needing every time. So supplier will get the data, say, now tomorrow Thursday, the manufacturer needs 1,000 of this product. Next Monday, 500 of this product. So in this way, there's much lesser uncertainties for the vendor, because the vendor knows how much product to produce, to manufacture, how much inventory to hold. So they are not going to experience problems such as excessive inventory. So there's less uncertainty. And so this is benefit provided for the vendor, for the supplier, and for the manufacturer. The benefit is actually the manufacturer is able to get products of better quality, since they are kind of since they have vendors managing the product on behalf of them, so they're taking responsibility to manage quality well. And since they are producing with no uncertainty, it's more likely they will concentrate on producing the product. So this is vendor managed inventory, which is a strategy that can be implemented to maximum efficiency for the supplier, for the manufacturer, especially in quality aspect as well. And demand planning as well. In order to maximize efficiency, you have to produce amount of product that is required by the customer. It is pretty difficult as the market is full of uncertainties due to customers' preferences changes, due to market alterations, due to macroeconomic forces, microeconomic forces, and so on. So it can be market forces change, which affect people's income. It can be macroeconomic change, which affect more people's income. And these factors can intervene and cause issues on your demand planning. So you may produce too less inventories, you may produce too much inventory. So aggregate supply may be larger than demand, aggregate demand may be lesser than supply. aggregate supply may be less than demand, aggregate demand may be larger than supply. So you have these issues here. Okay, so of course it's difficult, but in terms of maximizing efficiency, you need to consider how you're going to plan the demand, and this is also part of new planning, that is planning. Okay, so our next part is process management. So process management, I'm introducing 2 ways for you guys that professors have been emphasizing actually, which is just in case and just in time. So just in case, basically when you're actually stocking more than the amount needed, actually the amount ordered by the customer in your database, because you feel like, oh, there may be uncertainty, there may be an increase in demand, so I better prepare more inventories than I actually have, than number of inventories that I actually need to supply my customers. And then it's just in time. Just in time, the exact opposite of just in case. They're stocking the amount of inventories according to how much order had the business received. So this is just in time, just in case. And there are more and more inventories management strategies which we can actually classify based on actually similar to just in case and just in time. We can say push and pull strategy. So pull strategy is actually you are kind of pushing, you are stocking more inventories, and pulling is more like you are applying just in time. So it's still an argument which one is better because it depends on the situation. In a time where there's huge uncertainties, actually people prefer just in time. So if people don't want to buy a product, it's actually safer. You're not incurring too much external cost. But if the demand suddenly raises, just in time, just in case, will win because they're stocking more products, and then the people who are employing just in time are losing a profitable opportunity. But I would say just in time is overall more stabilized. Okay, so these are just a supply chain management and supply chain coordination. Moving on to operational management, an important chapter on your business studies. So we'll break it down into first production process. So production process, under that we have specialization, which means certain employees are performing the job that they are best at. So specialization doesn't only mean specialization of the manufacturing process of your factory. In factory, also you guys may know, some people do welding, some people do cutting, some people do assembling, some people do painting. Everybody focus on these repetitive jobs so they can have better, I would say they have better proficiency in performing this, and definitely can increase efficiency as well. So also not only in the factory point of view, in the office point of view, people are broken down into different departments. We have marketing, finance, operations management, and we have account management, we have many more, and technology, IT department, and managerial, corporate finance, corporate management department. So even in the department point of view, everybody is specializing. Okay, and automation, I don't want to emphasize too much that we can implement automation in our production process. Okay, then is efficiency. So efficiency, I'm introducing 2 ideas here. And the first is lean production. In your business model, you can consider this. So lean production is basically the general name for all these production strategies that aim to reducing waste. So any strategies that can reduce waste is considered as a lean production method. So waste can occur in many ways. For instance, there can be waste in waiting. So you kind of waiting for a product to be produced, so you can do more simultaneous work, synchronized work. And the second waste can be delivery distance. So you're wasting too much time on the distance of logistics, on transporting your products, or even in a distance within a company. You have to work from this block to that block to get the certain material. So you can alterate, you can change how your factory is set up. And the third point can be utilizing talents. So you're not utilizing fully the talents you have. You already pay the salaries, but you are not actually using the full potential. Especially maybe you haven't designed the system well, the workers are not motivated, they're doing little tasks, and your efficiency is not up yet. So there can be the third way. And the first way can be just in case you're stocking too much inventories. And especially if you're a supermarket or you're a food manufacturing business, if you stock up too much meat, vegetables, they're going to perish, the act. So especially if you are some company that you are in charge, or your business is a perishable goods business, remember, try to predict well on your inventories, or if you want a safer measure, apply just in time. Don't apply too far with just in case. Otherwise, you'll waste your inventories. It will be highly costly because you're not able to liquidify your inventories back to cash later on. Okay, so these are some ways that you can consider that you can solve the waste, reduce the waste by lean production. And then it's autonomy. Autonomy basically is something like autonomy government, that you have employees having rights to work and actually devise ideas by themselves. So autonomy has already been implemented for business like Toyota in this basic supply chain, in the manufacturing process, that when there's a problem, managers are not going to be in charge with that. Employees can work out the problem. Employees can also find the best way. They can cooperate, so you'll provide more motivation to them, and you also make them more clear of what to do, since they are discussing in the group how to accomplish tasks rather than getting a delegation from from the superordinate superiors. Yeah. So this can be a way. And now wages in terms of wages and salaries, your motivational strategies should be considered in your future planning of your internal business model in order to actually motivate your workers for them to have commitment to the business, and you have to innovate and actually think of new ways to calculate the wages. That is a way that can motivate them the best. And some strategies involved in operations management. First of all, is risk management. You try to lower the risk. When you're making production, you try to not waste too much out of lean production. You also try to reduce the risk by possibly diversifying production, and also tactics in competition, which you can consider. Okay, so that's for operations management. And please take some notes if you need to. And organizational structure. On organizational structure point of view, our first part is information flow. So information flow, which I think information flow, our first point is work delegation and communication. It's in terms of how do we delegate the work, the system of delegating work and tasks, and how do we communicate within communication. So I mentioned actually in the previous video that actually right here that more and more companies may apply this decentralized model, especially in the near future. The decentralized model means there's not a obvious trend of delegation in your company that the particular group of people actually respond to particular people, and particular people have the right to manage particular people. Decentralized has more freedom, and there are more opportunities for people from different departments, people from different levels to get in touch, and this is where ideas can spark. This is where there can be more motivations. This is where there can be more authorities. So we are kind of transforming for traditional pyramid when there's someone at the top and people at the down part to more people at the equal level in charge of different tasks. So in this way, people will be in the equitable position, while they can have more innovations in different domains, different fields of your business. And then they can be team-based or digital-based, and as well, work in teams, individual and teams. So you have more automation, you have more socialized. If you learned about Maslow's motivational pyramid, you actually see the third pyramid after psychology needs and basic pay and work condition. It's actually social. So we socialize with a basis of socializing. When workers are able to socialize, they're able to be more highly motivated. And more human resources management. In terms of human resources management, you have to consider the jobs in demand and hierarchy of roles. So hierarchy of roles is definitely important, otherwise the business will be chaotic. Although I definitely suggest a transformation from a centralized model to a decentralized model, but there always should be some hierarchy of roles, otherwise people will be chaotic. There will be a complete laissez-faire, which is not going to work, I think. So you have to set hierarchies, who to report to who. So when you employ a new person in your company, you will know what to do. And then gradually, after this process solidified, after this hierarchy is consolidated, then you can actually ensure that workers know what to do. They have a well system. Well, you also should maintain a few autonomy. You should maintain their rights as well. You should give all employees certain responsibilities while you maintain this hierarchy, so they can work rigidly and know what to do. They have someone providing the direction. And in this way, with hierarchy, we can delegate the task from the top to the bottom, from large decision to actually small work, and this is the way we can increase our efficiency and boost our coordination. And then, in terms of the last part, work innovations. So we have virtual teams, which I've talked already. People may work at different geographical locations, digitally connecting to each other, and they can, and also businesses should incorporate technologies when need to, if they can be beneficial to a particular business. And now we're off to marketing. So marketing, we have product, place, price, and promotion as our 4 Ps. So definitely you should consider them in your new business model. So I'll give you a brief introduction that product basically refers to the product in terms of packaging, product functions, features. Product also it links to your business model. How is your product servicing the customers? How's your product pinpointing the pain point of the customers? And then we have the promotion. It's more of an advertisement, how to attract the customers through promotion, like advertisement, like a discount, things like that. Pricing strategies also include discounts, basically how you price your product to attract the customers. And also lastly is our product price, promotion, and place. Is that where you're going to sell your product to, and what are the distribution channels you're going to sell your product to, which is then linked to our supply chain. So if we take about in terms of our business model, why am I not talking about place and price? Is because pricing is not a part of business model, it's more of a marketing model, and place is all supply involving the supply chain. So it's already involved here in terms of configuration and your logistics. But however, marketing, I have to emphasize product and promotion in this Ishikawa diagram, because product may be something, maybe the core, maybe the center, maybe the nucleus of your business model change. For instance, you have a new product development, so you may have a completely new product than before, or you may alter some features, certain quality dimensions of product. Remember, the quality dimensions are including the functions, including the features, including safety guarantee, safety warranty, including quality also include how endurances of a product, so on and so forth. And you also, here's my suggestion here in my diagram is you should follow and manage your budget based on PLC. So PLC is actually product life cycle. It is broken down into parts from introduction stage to the growth stage, the maturity stage, and to the decline stage. So PLC of course is different for companies. Some product can stay in the market for 2 years, like PS4 stayed in the market 5 years in a row. Apple iPhone stayed in the market 1 year before a new one come out, and the old iPhone stay for like a extension period for a few months before it's completely eliminated in the official website. And also it's different. But usually a company knows how long, or based on past experiences, how long your product can stay in the market, and corresponding to the product type, based on the product type, how long can it stay in the market. And then you should manage your budget based on the PLC, so you know how much to spend and what targets, and what actions to take. But definitely you can do this in planning, but you also should react based on the market reactions. So definitely it can go against your plan as well. But by doing planning, you're able to kind of implement strategies. For instance, you believe that the best stage for the growth is from March to April, then you spend more money between this period, and you have to plan this ahead. So you actually implement the budget and create and execute your sales. Okay, and then promotion, I want to talk a little bit more about that, is new advertising mediums. Nowadays, I know you guys using commonly, I think most people here use Instagram, and by using a lot of Instagram, this is actually new advertisement medium. Many Instagram do advertisement. Omni-channel, I mentioned in the old video, that we promote on our apps and also we promote on our stores. So we try to make combination between internet selling, internet advertisement, and our physical stores to kind of combine together to form omni-channel. And also new advertisement mediums can be advertisement online, YouTube, and so we're moving from traditional point like leaflet advertisement, which we don't think is working well, to more of online advertisement where we're seeing more people can be exposed. Also, we are also applying information analytics. It's a more technical aspect which many companies are applying right now, which is actually part of AI, artificial intelligence, to promote mainly the target groups. So by applying information analytics, we're applying, for instance, if our product is only for young children, we only target these parents. By targeting parents, we find out the social medias, find out their searches. By analyzing the data we get in a lawful point of view, in the legal point of view, obtaining legal data from Google, from third parties like that, Facebook, Instagram, we're able to tailor-make this advertisement, not only tailor-made product, but also tailor-made advertisement for this target group. So for them, this product are tailor-made to them. So in this way, we will promote to the target group, which saves some money and also increase the chance for us to actually get target customers, increase the chance for us to make successful sales. Otherwise, if we send randomly to Instagram makers who might sign a diapers product to 60 years old, which is not really helpful either. Or if we send iPhone to 3 years old. Okay, and lastly, I want to talk about research. So market research is definitely important before you make a product, or when you are trying to improve your product, or trying to find out an extension strategy once your product is kind of falling in the market. And I want to state that it can be easily broken down into two parts. The first part is social media. So in research, we can research by using social media. We try to apply information analytics. So we analyze people's comments, people's ratings, people's articles online, and we try to use language models, such as when we analyze the words they use, such as the plane seat is comfortable, or the food on the airplane is bad, or the waiting room is cool. Things like this, using language models to identify the words, adjectives, and these words, adjective, nouns, verbs, and we try to find out and finalize the attitude from these comments. And then from this analytics, we're trying to find out how can our company improve. So this is also linked to the second point here, that is information management to increase the accuracy. So not only can social media help us to improve ourselves, improve our business with data analytics, information analytics, but it can also help us to target the needs of the customer by seeing from the comments what is the need. So this is where we're doing opportunity identification, which is an important course you can learn for Watson's entrepreneurship course. That entrepreneurship and the business leadership course always teach people how to identify need before you decide what product to make, whether it is an innovation or improvement based on new product, based on old product. So you have to tackle the needs. You find the needs basically from social media as a new way of doing so. So this is also consideration on your scenario planning or business model. If you decided to implement this, you may have to scenario plan how you're going to implement strategy, how you're going to develop the R&D part, the research and development, how you're going to R&D, how to complete the R&D part of this data engineering, information analytics, and information management skill. Okay, last part we went to finance. We're going to finance before we end our video today. So finance, so I want to break into equity and loan finance. So equity finance basically shareholders investment. A loan finance basically when you borrow money from a party like a bank, like for another business as a debenture, when you borrow from a particular party like trade credit, things like that. So first of all, talk about equity finance, that we have to examine shareholders' demand. I've been emphasizing in my last video that try to showcase shareholders, possibly innovations, possibly workforce, organizational structures, possibly also it's definitely important to show the return. No matter investor, for instance, they're willing to invest in your business, even though you may have provide a little return because they believe your company may have. For those people who are not starting a business yet, who don't have a prominent large business to provide return for these investors, but want to attract certain investment from these angel investors with little return needed. And then we also have to think about strategies such as stock split. So sometimes stock market is the stock price is too expensive, or the stock your condition is not really well. People may not buy your stock when it is at a certain price. So you can consider this strategy called a stock split, which means, for instance, if your stock price is $60, you split it by 3, so each stock is $20. People may be more willing to buy because they can now diversify the risk. If they have $60, they don't want to spend on your stock, they may only buy a stock worth $20 and they spend $40 in another stock that is not really correlated with the stock of your company, so they can diversify and minimize the risks. So you can apply the strategies that can attract them because they want to diversify, and also trending capabilities show they look at. So sometimes shareholders may look at, for instance, in the next 5 years, I predict that they care about technology, AI development. So even though you may not be providing a high return at first, but if you're potentially stable, you're potentially set, and you are capable, and you are kind of in a leading position in AI development, pioneering here, definitely shareholders may look at that because technology, AI will be or is right now a trending capability of a businesses that shareholders may consider. And lastly, let's talk about the loans. When you obtain a loan, okay, here we have a grasp flexible period. So definitely it's not easy to obtain loans, especially for small business who don't have really access to mortgage it. So the way is to grasp flexible periods. So in some periods of time when, for instance, banks are not doing well, they're actually willing to borrow money more. So possibly in the pandemic, they are kind of restrained. They are kind of unrestrained certain requirements for you to obtain a loan. So maybe you don't have to earn as much money, you don't have to have as much as assets in order to borrow a loan of particular money of a particular interest rate, because now they're doing badly. So maybe they'll take a little bit bad. So since not many people borrowing from them, they may open to more of these people with lower income, maybe middle class, lower class, and they will take a little bad. Then hopefully they can return the money. So there are always flexible periods, although it can be economic downturns, it can be down periods of the economic, or it can be periods where you just have luck, or where the company has been kind of doing more trials with when the banks are willing to take certain bets. And now we have discovered new pathways. Not only for banking loans, we have debenture, borrowing for another company. It may work because companies want to maintain relationship with others, while bank doesn't care about relationship. Bank just want you to return so they can make money in between by borrowing and borrowing the money and borrowing the money and people saving the money. They want this exchange to happen smoothly. But for businesses, they may provide a lower interest rate because of your relationship with them, or because their willingness to cooperate with you in the future. So debenture will be a pretty good way, or there can be trade credit. It's when you obtain loans from hopefully legalized, legalized third parties that provide interest rate less than the bank, because because sometimes it can be a better situation that you have a lower interest rate, which means easier for you to pay back, while also for the different parties they're able to get some return as well. So however, you should check it is legalized, check the contracts before you actually take this step forward, because compared to bank, it's not really official, right? Bank is the most official way. Okay, and lastly, you can consider M&A operations. So there can be also opportunities of merger acquisitions. Okay, so this is our video today, and hopefully you understand our business model of internal, business model of internal planning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.